The alley air hung heavy, thick with the metallic tang of rain-washed dumpster and something vaguely like ozone. Below the flickering neon glow of a bar sign, Taskmaster moved with a liquid grace, a blur of motion as he disarmed the last of the Kingpin's enforcers. Each precise strike, each defensive block was a perfect echo, a flawless mirror of the very techniques his opponents had attempted. He stepped back, cape settling around him like a satisfied whisper, the silence broken only by a distant siren. For Taskmaster, a man whose photographic reflexes allowed him to instantly replicate any fighting style he witnessed, combat was rarely a challenge. It was a predictable equation, a symphony of learned movements. And then, he met Deadpool. Picture, if you will, the calculating mind of Taskmaster, processing every twitch, every feint, every practiced stance. For years, he prided himself on understanding the very mechanics of conflict. He could watch Captain America for mere moments and mimic his shield throws with unnerving accuracy. He could observe Wolverine and anticipate his next claw swipe. Every renowned martial artist, every disciplined soldier, every street brawler had a pattern, a rhythm he could absorb and turn against them. This ability made him one of the most formidable mercenaries in the world, an opponent who always seemed one step ahead simply because he was always one style better. So, when the Merc with a mouth, Deadpool, first entered his orbit, Taskmaster approached him as he would any other target. Wade Wilson was a mercenary, albeit a highly unconventional one. He carried an arsenal, he employed blades, he could even shoot straight when he bothered to focus. On paper, Deadpool should have been an open book for Taskmaster, an easy read. A few minutes of observation, a mental download of his techniques, and the fight would be over. Taskmaster even prepared himself for the acrobatics, the surprising agility that Deadpool often displayed. What he was not prepared for, however, was the sheer, unadulterated, mind-bending chaos. Their early encounters were a masterclass in Taskmaster's frustration. He'd observe Deadpool's opening lunge, a seemingly standard sword strike, and prepare to counter, only for Wade to suddenly pivot mid-air, drop his sword, pull out a rubber chicken, and attempt to whack him with it while singing a show tune. Taskmaster's brain, designed for pattern recognition, would sputter. He'd try to anticipate a kick, and Deadpool would instead launch into an impromptu interpretive dance about the futility of conflict, occasionally punctuated by a swift, unannounced groin pick. It was, as Taskmaster would later describe it, a glitch in the Matrix. His perfect replication ability, his greatest strength, became his biggest weakness. How do you replicate a fighting style that doesn't exist? How do you predict a move that's motivated by a fourth-wall breaking joke, a sudden craving for chimichangas, or just pure whimsical insanity? Deadpool's combat wasn't about technique, it was about disruption. It was a bizarre blend of genuine martial arts, slapstick comedy, spontaneous pop culture references, and the kind of pure, unfettered madness that only a healing factor and a complete disregard for self-preservation could produce. Taskmaster, for perhaps the first time in his professional life, was utterly thrown off. This bizarre dynamic forged a truly unique rivalry. It began as professional animosity, with Taskmaster desperately trying to categorize, to understand, to defeat this living paradox. But as the years unfolded, through countless skirmishes and accidental team-ups, their relationship evolved. Taskmaster found himself, much to his own irritation, being dragged into Deadpool's increasingly ludicrous schemes. One minute he'd be trying to apprehend Wade, the next he'd be reluctantly helping him retrieve a sentient talking squirrel from a villain's lair, all because Deadpool claimed the squirrel owed him $5. There were times Taskmaster would actually find himself offering genuine, if exasperated, advice. He'd sigh, run a gloved hand down his skull mask, and grumble about Deadpool's terrible planning, only to grudgingly admit that Wade's sheer unpredictability often made his plans work against all logical odds. It became a strange kind of professional friendship, built on a foundation of Taskmaster's exasperation and Deadpool's insistent, chaotic charm. Taskmaster learned that some opponents can't be analyzed, some situations can't be predicted, and sometimes the most effective strategy is pure, unadulterated chaos. Deadpool, in his own twisted way, taught Taskmaster that even for a man who can learn every move, there's always something new, something completely insane, waiting around the corner. So, the next time you think about the predictable nature of skill versus the wild card of sheer personality, consider Taskmaster and Deadpool. It's a story of a meticulous professional pushed to his absolute limit by a walking, talking, fourth-wall-breaking anomaly. Theirs is not a rivalry of hatred, but one of bewildered respect, a testament to the idea that sometimes the greatest advantage isn't mastery, but magnificent, beautiful, glorious chaos. What are your thoughts on this utterly unique dynamic? Have you ever encountered a Deadpool in your own life? Someone whose unpredictability completely throws you off balance, for better or worse? Share your stories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the wonderfully complicated world of Taskmaster and Deadpool, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel for more stories, and sharing it with a friend. We'll delve into another fascinating corner of these interesting narratives very soon.